Oh, yeah.
Bro, we are live.
Now we're live.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You didn't have the intro music.
Well, no. It turns out it was non-copyright, but now it's copyright. So anyway, I'll get some. I got some new tunes that I'm going to add in that are copyright free.
Mm.
Yeah, no royalty music. It's like a thing. We don't want to get strikes.
Speaking of royalty music, maybe we could say something when people start coming in more about our new subscription thing or whatever. That might be starting to happen.
Like an intro?
No, remember on YouTube that we were doing?
Oh,
today?
yeah. Do you want to tell people about that?
What is that exactly? It's not a subscription. It's a
membership. Yeah.
We don't have anybody yet on YouTube, so we could probably wait a little bit until some people start coming on. But basically, what it is where now you can go into YouTube. Well, not yet. It's still getting approved, I think. You can either play like $2.99 or $5.99 for different types of subscription statuses. Where, like, for example, if you do like it on if you do the $2.99 or whatever, you get access to early videos. Or unlike the $5.99, there's other things that you can gain from that.
Yeah.
We're still working on it a little bit, so over time you'll probably gain more stuff, more quality things. So yeah, you will find out there and we actually get it approved.
Yeah, it'll go through. Yeah. Nothing complicated in there, but we recently got monetized on YouTube, so we'll have membership section, and I think we're going to be putting more long form video over there, like these live sessions that we do, as well as some member only stuff that's in those categories. And I think we've been talking about this, but we might put out videos in advance of publishing them publicly and let people give us some feedback about them before we publish them. Or even ideas, like maybe we'll give people the draft and they can vote on it, and then we'll put out the actual clips.
Yeah.
So that could be cool.
So that'll be nice. So if anybody here would like to go and join that, it'll
definitely
probably be posted here pretty soon.
If you're not following us on YouTube, that'd be a great place because we're going to be doing more and more work there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube is the good stuff.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay.
Dad, how about you tell them what we're going to be talking about?
Why don't you you tell them?
I don't know a good way to put it in my own words. Basically, what we're going to be doing, because as you guys have known, we've traveled to a bunch of places. One is obviously Russia, right? We've gone to Russia. And the other place recently went to Africa in Tanzania. So yeah, we went to both of those places, and there's a lot of things people either say about those places or do, related to those places that some are right, some are wrong, right? Like, information that may be right or may be wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe send money to places that, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that today.
Yeah. I mean, we can take questions. There's a lot going on, but we felt like it would be fun to maybe tune it a little bit and talk about some of the travel that we've taken in the last several months, which are a couple of big trips. We sort of haven't gone into too much depth on them, have we? But we went to Russia, spent a couple of weeks there, and then we also went to Africa. And so we'll have some content that we're going to put out on both of these because we did capture some things while we were traveling. But these were two pretty unique places that, our feeling is like, wow, if we can go somewhere and feel safe and experience things firsthand, it's so much better than hearsay. And Russia is a great example of that. So we can get into that. And then we went to Africa over the Christmas to New Year's holiday. We went to Tanzania. We did a bunch of stuff there. That was really cool.
That place was awesome.
Yeah, we did the safari stuff like a lot of people go over there to do.
Yeah, most tourists do.
But we also spent a good amount of time with locals. So we went into the city. We
actually saw some of the like places that the tribes live in.
Yeah, we went to see the indigenous Maasai tribe and spent time with them and got to ask them direct questions versus, what you might search on the internet. As well as we went to an orphanage and played with the kids there. That was a really cool day. So, yeah, so we can get into some of that. But maybe what we'll do is we'll start with so Russia was now, gosh, I don't know, it's almost 5 months ago. We went late
Yeah.
August through like early September. We didn't publish much about it. Basically, a couple days after we got back, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and that just like put a lot of things upside down for us. That hit pretty hard, and so we're gonna circle back though and share more about what we did over there.
Yeah. Well, also we've been kind of lazy about actually editing the videos.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I've been telling you that I'm gonna like edit the videos and put
Yeah,
them
you
out,
have.
but
Yeah, you have.
yeah, I kind of keep forgetting about it. So now that you reminded me that again, I'll probably remember, and then
Mm.
1 or 2 days later, I'm probably gonna forget again. So you can just
Editing is
remind me.
kind of a buzzkill, isn't it? Like editing
Yeah,
the videos is.
I thought it was gonna be like pretty cool,
Yeah.
and then you were showing me, and I was like, "Wow, this is sick." And then I started on these videos,
Yeah.
and there's like 90 different clips that we need to take, or like
Right.
90 different like pictures and videos and stuff that we took from like one location. And I have to put them all in this one thing and then see which ones fit where.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Editing is totally the buzzkill of this endeavor that we're on with social media and
I can see
YouTube and everything. Because yeah, you go and we took a bunch of cool videos. We got a bunch of cool stuff. It's a matter of like putting it together and putting it out. And we're not necessarily experts in that, but we're getting better because we do everything ourselves. Yeah. So, okay, let's do this. So we went to Russia. Tell people just like a little overview on, I think like what people are most interested in is probably like, what's the culture like? What are the people like? What's the politics like over there?
Well, obviously I'm not Russian, so I don't really know much of the politics, but I do know that they're in a war. No surprise, surprise, everybody. Who would have guessed that?
Right.
So in like their center city, you can't really have any internet or barely any internet because the or GPS. Because they have GPS jammers, because I guess there's been so many attempts to kill Putin that like 20 times plus with drones that they've like now GPS jammers there, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But overall the people there are really nice. And it was really like pretty cool. Like I didn't really see much different between them and like, for example, us. Many people that like are here. I do think maybe they were slightly more nicer. But overall they're like,
so
they weren't really
you stated
describe them as.
You stated that there's GPS. So the internet was actually quite good. We had Wi-Fi and pretty much in the city and everywhere we went. But the GPS jammers, because they had drones coming in to try to get into the Kremlin multiple times, and so they so that made using like things like Google Maps or Yandex, which is the Russian version, pretty tricky. So you had to kind of go old school on the maps.
Yeah. Or just memorize the streets. It's kind of what we did for a few of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was not bad, right? Not bad. We got around. But yeah, maybe keep telling them. I got a couple questions here I'm going to take a look at, but tell them about getting around Russia or Moscow in particular.
Well, we walked most of the places, but other than that, you could basically pick up a taxi anywhere, which is pretty normal. Or what they have there is subways. They have like the metro stations there, which are amazing. I've never been to like, for example, the New York metro, but when I look at like pictures or videos and stuff, it looks disgusting.
Yeah.
I guarantee you've probably seen some pictures of the like Russian metro, because it's so nice that it's like almost famous.
So clean.
It's like it was like the cleanest thing ever.
They have artwork up on the ceilings and walls and like
yeah, it literally parts of it literally look like you're walking into like 5-star hotel or like a like museum or something full of artwork, because it's so clean, it's so nice looking.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Hey, we got a couple of questions, so we'll interrupt quickly. Somebody asked about our setup with our mics and our screen recording, and so I'll tell you. By the way,
this is some like here. There's a thing there.
Yeah,
these are Rodecaster.
It's we use Rode mics, and I will say it took a little bit. We went really like low cost in the beginning, and even our current setup's not very high cost. So we do have a Rodecaster. That was probably the most expensive thing we have, and then we plug these mics in. So we have Rode mics. Those aren't too bad, and we have a couple of those. We're both talking on that. We're in the same room. We're just So I've got my camera on my computer, and then we've got an
That's literally right there.
Yeah.
So like we have like a TV right in front of me, so that's why I'm typically not looking. Like this is me looking at the camera. Other than that, I like looking at comments and stuff on the TV in front of me. And then Dad's right here, and if his monitor and all that wasn't there, he'd be looking straight at me.
Yeah.
So we're pretty compact.
Yeah,
use our space pretty well.
This is like a bonus room game room that we have, and so you guys do your Xbox in here. We have this big TV, and then when we do this, we turn it into it. We also have it as a podcast room, so we put our backdrop in. We could probably take a little film of it. We've done it in the past to show people kind of behind the scenes, like what it looks like. It's nothing too complicated. We have one light, so it's pretty low tech setup, and but it works. And we've got like one external camera. But you don't necessarily need that. You could use a phone to do it. And we use a software called StreamYard. There's a bunch of good ones like Riverside, Ecom.
I like StreamYard the most.
Ecam is StreamYard. So
and then for editing, you like Descript.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Descript or Adobe Premiere Pro is those are kind of the main ones. So there's all these little subscriptions, but that's probably a whole like podcast and video in itself. Like how do we do all this? So anyway, there's another question. Where is your brother, William?
Well, he's going to be needing to leave in like 5 to 10 minutes, I think, for football practice.
Oh, 6-7 minutes.
God, Dad.
It's not, that doesn't work when the old guy does it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. So, yeah, Max, he's like a big sports guy. I still like sports, but I like more academic stuff. So I have time here. But Max, he's lately been doing tackle football, which is pretty new for him. So, and that thing is around this time, and he needs to leave in like, well, as he said, 6 or 7 minutes to go to that football practice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's not really. If he was here, he'd have to like leave halfway through, and like it's awkward.
He's on two football teams right now, so he's quite busy, but he definitely like gets involved more later in the day or weekends. Somebody's on from Macedonia. Wow. Okay, cool. Where's your little brother? Okay, let's see. You all somebody asked if we go to events. We do. The
most recent one was AmFest. We don't go to mini events, or like AmFest is the only one that we go to with like, like the whole booth and everything, like, like we can record things. We haven't really gone to many though. That's like the main one that like we actually tell people who we are. The other ones, like when Charlie was around, like we went to some of his like little speaking events where he speaks with some other people.
Yeah. We did go to a lot of Turning Point. We did go to a lot of Turning Point events, and we actually had a booth in the media. We had a media booth at both at Charlie's Memorial, and we had a media booth at America Fest in December, and that was cool. We did about 20 podcasts during that time. We had our whole booth and talked to a lot of people. It was busy, but it was pretty cool. We'll see. We might do more. We might do like some more of the younger crowd conservative events this year. We'll see.
Yeah, that stuff. There's a lot more younger people there. Yeah, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so unless there's any more questions, you guys can keep asking them in the chat. But so, now we can get back to the real thing, right?
Yeah.
So Russia, I'd say that there are two things that people misunderstand about Russia. One, people say that they're crazy, right? That they're probably like much more farther behind in technology, and like that maybe is slightly true, but overall, like I'd say they're still pretty advanced. They're still like super nice. People always say like, oh, they're awful people or whatever, but I think it's mainly it's just like governments, right? Like, governments always have beef with each other, but the people typically around the world are normally around the same, right? They're all nice typically.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I think people generally want the same thing, right? They want to have their family. They want to have peace. They want to go home and do their thing and, live a good life, right? And we found that definitely in Russia, in Africa. And I mean, people were quite nice. And even when we told them we were American, they were surprised we were there in Russia, right?
Well, it's a long way to get there. And I think barely any Americans come there because, well, obviously the government telling us they're bad people. You shouldn't go over there. It's not safe. But we took the risk and it turned out pretty well.
It was quite safe. I think there's a lot of propaganda around how it's not safe, but it's actually quite safe. It's, I would say being there is actually quite a bit safer than here. But getting through customs, immigration, all of that, they were quite accommodating actually, because we were a family of 4. And so we had somebody come up and like guide us to the front of the line at immigration. That was pretty cool.
It was like a family line kind of, right?
Yeah.
Where like, families can go into it, which is.
And this young Russian woman was very nice. She escorted us over there. We went through, and then similarly on flights, they would accommodate us because we had booked our flights. It's a whole story, but you have to book your flights through a weird way, and inside the country anyway. And they pulled us up and moved other people around so that we could sit together. It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that's the main thing. The other thing people will, not a thing that we like to do a lot in like a lot of Europe and America, we like to do is, well, basically lock China out of like all trade and stuff that we do, right? What's the name of that?
Sanctions?
Yeah, sanctions, right?
Yeah.
We sanction them.
We sanction the heck out of
they can't
Russia.
Like they're basically their own separate thing. Like they basically don't have any connection with anybody in the outside world effectively. So, and honestly,
do you think
when we went there,
we
think it helped them kind of because they don't have nearly like they probably don't know about 6-7. They probably don't know a lot more about like brain rot and all that stuff that we know of and that people minds have been corrupted with. I wonder, totally not me. I'm not addicted to 6-7 or anything like that, right? But it's not hurting them nearly as much as what people think.
Well, like what are some things that we notice when we talk to people over there about the sanctions? Remember?
I don't know what exactly they're talking about.
Well, I would ask because we had a couple of long taxi rides, or we had guides in a couple of places, but they pretty much unanimously said, "Wow, the sanctions, it was pretty rough in the beginning. Like we froze up money and like no trade in and out." And so they said it was pretty rough in the beginning, but it forced them to make things for themselves, and so they started basically building up industry inside the country.
Basically entirely self-sustainable.
Yeah, so they can sustain themselves. And so basically they said, you can keep doing your sanctions. It's not hurting us. We're thriving. Everything's great. And I don't know, like when we were moving around, particularly in the larger cities, they seemed like they were thriving. Restaurants were open. It was lively, the streets. We went to a vacation area, Sochi, where they held the Olympics.
Sochi is pretty cool.
It's a tropical destination, actually, and the mountains are only like 30 minutes. It's a pretty crazy place, and there was a lot of people there on vacation spending money. Pretty wild. Like the
I was
streets
surprised
were
how many
packed.
people are there. Granted, it wasn't as nice as I would have thought. It was kind of like that city was definitely nearly as nice as the other cities is. I feel like it was slightly more underdeveloped than the others. But it was still very cool. The beaches and the area where like the Olympics specifically took place. You could go there and it was very beautiful, the entire place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we well, we did a lot. We did a lot in Russia. It was pretty cool. We'll have a video coming out on it pretty soon because we've been editing this, and we ate at the top restaurant in all of Russia. We played at the top golf course in all of Russia. And so, yeah, we did some cool stuff. And yeah, your dollar
golf course
goes farther too.
We'd like to see probably what you guys think about it when we post that video, but
the golf course?
It was interesting. I'll just say that.
Great. I thought
like the actual golf course itself was good, but the service and all of that stuff was just like strange. The only good thing about the golf course is kind of like the actual course itself, the house, and then the
Yeah.
It's just
Let's move on.
it was weird. It was really weird. Anyway,
So let's move on to Africa.
so Africa, there's a few things we could probably talk about here, but I would like to start off with a banger because people know that we like to send money to places that we call third world countries, right? Because, well, they're slightly underdeveloped than us. So we send money over to places, for example, like Tanzania, thinking it helps them. And we went there, and I don't think it's helped them like at all. And
Yeah.
like the places, it's almost like they're not really willing to like make themselves productive at all. Like they're not really willing to like make like their cities beautiful or anything. It's kind of a big dump. That's what I noticed when I was there. The people there were very nice, but
I think
it's
the
almost like they
people,
don't care about how they live.
I think it's a different culture, right? Like
That's why.
they just have different priorities. Like I would say the people were absolutely happier, right?
That's what I said, right? They were a lot more nice.
Yes, they were happier, they were friendly, they were accommodating. The people were honestly really great, but they live lower than like the lowest standard of living that you can imagine
Yeah.
here in America. So we found that interesting, right? And so then you have to wonder, like we send money and things over all the time, and it hasn't really materially gotten better. And so then you kind of have to wonder, like, well, like, are we trying to force something on them that they don't really want or value?
Western culture, right?
Yeah,
Is what
Western
we call
culture.
it.
They might just value going to the water well every day, coming home, being able to at least have enough food and everything to get by, and living a relaxing life, and that's and a happy life, and that's generally like what we saw with a lot of these people. Like they don't desire as much as in terms of consumption, I think, as like Western culture does.
Yeah. That's why
And
it's kind of surprising when we went
so
there
you can
because, like,
set
that's what we think of as like typical human characteristics, always striving for more, right? It's kind of like what humans are, right? They want to be the best at something. And then the people over there, they're not really like that.
yeah.
It's kind of weird, but yeah. So
Yeah.
I would say that about that place.
Yeah, and but you could tell like Western culture has made its way in terms of like music and
Beer.
consumer products. Yeah, beer, soda, water bottles. They have a real problem with trash. Even though they have trash services, there's trash everywhere. Like everywhere.
When you say trash services, it didn't even make much sense because like maybe
Well,
they have like trash bags or something, but I didn't see like one dumpster. Or maybe I saw like one or two dumpsters, but like I didn't really see any dumpsters at all when you're driving around the city. Like nowhere for that they actually put their trash.
Yeah, it's not a priority for them.
Yeah.
Neither is like just having like new clean stuff. It just wasn't like, that's just not every home. The other thing I thought was interesting, because we'll put out a whole like video on this too, but the other thing I thought was interesting is pretty much every home has a storefront. Like there's a store at the front, and they're all kind of selling the same thing, like water, soda, or maybe fruit. And so there's not a lot of like specializing in terms of how they trade. So you'll go and you'll drive down in the city and you'll see 100 of the same storefront.
Well, yeah,
and then
all
there's
of
trash.
them,
There's trash everywhere.
yeah,
and the
all
roads.
of them basically just like literally every single house looked like it was made 50 years ago, and then it was the front was like the store, and the back was where they lived.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I swear, Dad, the dogs that I saw there, every single dog was the exact same breed. It was like
Mutt?
like only like the golden ones.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a golden
No,
retriever,
it's
but
not
it was
golden.
like
They're
it
like
was something like of that color though, but darker because like the dirt and stuff around it. It was strange, but
Yeah.
it's very, very interesting though to see what their culture is like. It was definitely surprising.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
we should do a deeper breakdown on it, but nonetheless, how about we could maybe wrap it there, and we
Yeah,
can move
any
to
other
we can
questions?
move to some questions. I saw somebody has some questions about podcasting and stuff. And if you do, just shoot me a direct message, and if it's good faith and sincere, we'll get back to you. So that'll be fine. And if there's other questions, we'll take them now about whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While waiting for those, if anybody else would like
What
to
else?
ask some questions.
I think after this, we're gonna do some reaction video recordings, and I'm curious, like, if people like these reaction videos. We don't do a ton of them. We do mostly original content, but there's a lot of people that do reaction content, and we might do more of that. So I'm curious, like, if people think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. So type that in the comments if you guys are
yes
or curious. Also, make sure you guys go to YouTube because we haven't put them out yet, but within the next few days, we're starting this membership program. You can either do it for $2.99 or $5.99, and it'll give you special perks. Like, for example, you will be able to review some videos we put out before we actually put them out, and then you can tell us your feedback on them. Anything maybe like you don't like or something, we might change. Maybe your voice influences what we post. So
that's right. Yeah, you could help us come up with even ideas. We talked about doing we could do ideation videos for our membership group and get some input. Let's see. Okay, a couple of people say, "Hey, I love the content. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that tunes in." We had a couple of questions. Let's see. Donald Trump is a convicted felon. What do you think about that, Will?
Well, kind of. It's weird though, because people come out and say these things a long time, like more like 10 plus years after it supposedly happened, right? And then even then, it seems like a way to just like get under his skin kind of and just like say something about him to make him sound really bad. It's just like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, right? Like, you don't know if it's really true, if these people are telling the truth. But
yeah, like the tip line stuff.
Yeah, it's like this.
Yeah,
that's what I personally think of it as.
Yeah, the felonies. Any rational person would look at that and say, okay, he's got 34 counts of the exact same paperwork issue that accounted for the 34 felonies. And so I don't know. I don't find that to be too serious. Like, he's got some indiscretions in his past, like most of these prominent types of people do.
Yeah.
What I find disturbing is all the people that demand that he is like a satanic, devil worshipping, child cannibal.
It's kind of weird.
Pedophile.
I mean, like, if anything, you should be saying Epstein about that.
Yeah.
Isn't it more like he was freezing jerky?
Yeah.
I wonder what that's supposed to mean.
Well, that wasn't Trump. That was somebody else. They were talking about like, jerky. It's just, yeah, weird. There's a lot of weird stuff in there, but nonetheless, like, I think, I think people have a general, like, their brain broke when Trump won because they didn't like him. And the fact that enough people did like him, their brain just like fractured, and then it created psychosis, or otherwise called like Trump derangement syndrome. And so they're just on the hunt to to hope and find something that they can convict this guy of beyond paperwork. So yeah, and we know, like, he's pretty crass, and I think in terms of like other world leaders, how they see him, I'm sure they are nervous and scared because, like, he's not going to
be nice to him.
No, and he's also just not going to let them roll over him like Europe has been doing for decades. We support Europe completely. We fund NATO, we fund Ukraine war, we fund them, we protect them, and then all they do is criticize us back, which is pretty wild. And so he's basically calling them out, and they tariff us on things that we don't tariff them on. And so, like, he's calling them out on all these things, which makes some sense. But could he do it differently? Could he do it softer? Could he have better rhetoric?
Definitely.
For sure.
Well, if you guys watched a live stream when we were doing the Trump report card, I think we gave him a D.
Yeah,
I think a D minus in like how nice he is to people and stuff. And domestic relations
Yeah.
because he could definitely work on getting his words out, probably
Yeah.
kinder or maybe like not as
This is the
direct,
thing, like
right? Like sometimes direct is good, but sometimes people do not take direct very lightly.
like we even looked at, right, Will, like we looked at the stats between Obama and Trump on deportations, and there's more
Uh,
deaths, more lacking due process, people in cage. But Obama was smooth, right? He was so cool, and he'd be like, "Yeah, we're doing this," and nobody said a word. And now, people are protesting and blowing whistles in the street, and I see somebody here. I guess Dave left a message about that they had to invent crimes, like literally, the crimes that he was found guilty of in New York. One was like misrepresenting his tech, and his paperwork issue have never been used. Those crimes have never been applied to anyone else in the history of our legal system. Like, so you have to wonder, like, well, like if you have to work that hard to invent something, and apply
or just
lawfare
define the
against
crime
somebody,
and crime in general.
yeah,
Wasn't there that one guy that was like that one black guy that was like, "We will find a crime and prosecute Trump,"
that was
right?
Letitia James. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's like,
that's
yes, elect me, and I will find the crime to put bad guy Orange Man away. And she did. She made one up. So yeah. Meanwhile,
it's
people like
it's really
Jon
insane.
Stewart overestimated their property values in New York at a higher percentage than what Trump did, and nothing. So that's pretty weird, isn't
Yeah,
it? So anyway,
very suspicious.
let's.
Oh wait, Dad, there's a question over here.
Which one?
Who do you think will be running for president for the next of both parties? For the next, like, running of both parties? Um, I'd say that's a pretty hard one, especially for the Democrats. I don't really know, but I do know for the Republicans, there's two options, or basically one major option, but there's one I would like. The one that I would really like to see is Vivek Ramaswamy.
Mm.
I hope I did not just butcher his name. He like everything. Like sometimes we would listen to like the Republican things where like all of them like went into like the circle or whatever, and then like they would talk, and then they'd be like elected into like the nominee.
Yeah,
When we were listening to that
the debates.
debate, yeah. Well, I don't really know what it wasn't necessarily a debate.
Well, anyway, you like Vivek.
Yeah, Vivek was pretty cool. He was my favorite, but
Okay.
I do know that Trump had more support, sadly, and then or not sadly, because he's still pretty good. But Vivek, I don't know, he was just like a cool guy. But I think though the actual nominee will probably be Vance because he is the current vice president, so kind of like more known right now.
Yeah, somebody said Rubio. I actually like Rubio a lot too. So we'll see. Vivek, I think, was good, but
I liked Vivek a lot. You might have not liked him as much, but
I did in the beginning.
I think he was cool.
I did in the beginning, but I think he's a bit of a grifter. And then we've got Rubio, who I think is pretty legit, and I think Vance is really legit. I think we got a decent bench. And then what do you think on the Democrat side? And after this, we'll close out.
I'm blanking on his name. The guy in California.
Yeah.
Like
the governor of California.
What's his name again?
Gavin.
Gavin Newsom. Yeah. Gavin Newsom is probably going to be the Democratic nominee.
Imagine,
and if that's the case, he'd probably win. I do though think no chance that Kamala Harris is going to be the nominee.
No.
I mean, I haven't seen her name in a year or so. So, or since the last election.
Yeah.
I think people have just like completely forgotten about her. But yeah.
Yeah, she's she's kind of a mess, but Gavin Newsom is slick. He's decent looking, and so he's like, there's decent data that says basically women will vote for a good looking guy. And so there's a there's a chance that he's our next president. Which is terrifying because he's run California basically into the ground. But that's a whole other day. Newscomb. Somebody called him Gavin Newscomb. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, how about this? We appreciate everybody tuning in and listening and supporting us. It means a lot. Really means a lot.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, share, all that type of stuff. go to GSD Dash Nation to buy some merch because tell me this does not look amazing. It's also very soft. I just may or may not have ordered this size too small. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see you guys on the next video. Make sure you guys tune in next week for amazing one of these.
That's right. All right. Thank you.
Have a great day.